Okay,
only-
good,
No,
yeah,
I meant moving forward, that's all.
right.
We'll have to find another member to fill the slot. But if, let's say if Chip wasn't here one night, Mary would just fill in for him.
Yeah, but did
No,
Carol,
but Mary
Carol
can fill
resign?
in permanently now, right?
Yeah, it can become a member, a
Right.
full-fledged member. Yeah, not
Right.
an alternate.
Yes, I guess we'll have to talk to
Steve,
our authorities
Right.
in
All right,
town hall, yeah.
okay,
If,
anyway.
as long as Mary would like to do that.
Whatever, I'm happy to be of help.
Okay, very good.
excellent.
Okay, are there any additions or changes in the order of the agenda? Everybody happy with it? Okay, no audience of citizens here. I don't see any faces. A new face. Well, what about, let's see, Kevin McKierney, or is
We
he,
have a couple other people, John. They're part of the,
okay,
part of this meeting.
okay, part of the meeting. Very good. Okay, so we'll go on, start out with old business. IWWC 2021-18, application of Bill Life to rebuild a 35-foot stone wall at 50 Aridoni Road, Assessors Map 016A, Lot 1 in the LAR zone. Bill, you want to bring us up to date a little bit on that?
Sure. So that was an application that came in early winter, I guess it would be. We had a site walk there this past Saturday, and we did have a quorum there.
Great.
I don't know if anybody has any comments about that, but I think there was some discussion about the only thing that made it a different scenario than a normal lake wall rebuild is that there really isn't much of a wall there to speak of in its current condition. So we thought maybe that it would be prudent to have some language in there that just sort of made I guess some of the ability to use stone from in the lake bed, the disturbance there is the concern. So
Mhm.
I think, to be really specific about it, we wanted to have some language in there that simply said that any stone that's in contact with the lake bed was out of bounds. And I had talked to John Valenti a little bit about it because this is one of the things that he and I had overlapped on. And he had said that really his opinion was that you establish a sort of a boundary before work starts, and what wants to be the face of the wall, and that really is what is available to the owner to use in the construction of the new wall. And anything additional to that would need to be import material. So, and I think that's right. It's really, if anybody that's seen it will attest that it's sort of a boulder field. It's really rocky, and we just don't want to give anybody the impression that they have sort of license to go ahead and rebuild this wall and just sort of pick from everything that's out there. That's not the intent. So anybody, I don't know if anybody else that has seen it has any comment on that.
Yeah, Bill, I think one of the things that may come up at LMAC, and as you know, I try to be a liaison so we're all on the same page, is there are a fair number of boulders. Would these people ever feel they have license to move those boulders that even wouldn't be used for a lake wall? And I think the words that you use, strongly discouraged, at our site meeting on Saturday, was what I recalled. Is that an accurate statement?
It is. So I think that we don't want any disturbance of the lake bed, and we don't want really, to the extent possible, any sort of rearrangement of what's there. I mean, that's sort of to stay. That's my take on it. If anybody has a different opinion about it, but I think that would be my recommendation.
Okay. All right, thank you, Bill. Are there any other questions on the application? If not, do we have a summary ruling? Flo, do you have one?
It's there. I can
Okay.
put it online if you'd like.
What's that?
I can share it online if you'd like.
Okay, would you? And then we'll let Ron, would you read the summary ruling online here?
As provided for in Connecticut General Statute, Section 22A-36 through 22A-45 as amended, and in Sections 5, 6, and 9 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations of the Town of Columbia, I move that the application number IWWC 2021-21 and supporting data described below be approved and a permit granted with the standard conditions plus separate conditions listed below. In that the proposed activity does not have a significant impact on the wetlands or watercourses as defined in section 2.1 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission regulations. The applicant is Hop River LLC.
No?
Right.
Oh,
Wait a
you're
minute.
reading the wrong one.
No, you got the wrong one.
That's
I
the
have
wrong
one
one.
Oh, you
online.
got the wrong one?
You've got a different one, Ron.
I'm reading what's on my screen. What?
Yeah,
Oh, my,
Ah.
I see Bill Lights on my screen. So let me see
Ah.
what's happening here.
Hop River is on the screen.
Yeah, wait, that's
That's
right.
what I've got.
This is a
That's the
different
next one. So,
Yeah,
I
we all
don't
got Hop
understand
River.
that. Okay,
so other than the application number, nothing else changes.
Correct.
oh, okay. Here we go. Is that better?
No,
No,
No?
Oh my good, well, I'm gonna stop and then start again. I don't understand what's happening. I see the other one.
Okay, do we have another means to?
There you
we
go.
go.
Yeah, there it is.
18,
Got it?
there you go.
we're all
That-
set now,
That
yeah.
should do it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
okay, so we'll start with the application number is IWWC dash 2021 dash 18.
Right.
The applicant is Bill Lythe. The address is 50 Erdoney Road. The address of activity is 50 Erdoney Road. The property is owned by William Lythe, trustee. The maps are dated January 19th, 2021. The application was received on January 19th, 2021. And $350 or $60 fee was paid. Are we going on, John?
Okay, no, I guess you mentioned
You-
everything.
Well, the purpose of the proposed activity is to rebuild a stone wall. We have our standard conditions. I don't know how much of this has to be read.
No, only the special, any special conditions.
So what would we think is special?
I think in this case, Flo, we wanted to add some language that, nothing in the lake bed is to be used in the construction of the new wall. I
Okay,
think that would be the only thing specific to that site.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so we will add
Okay,
that.
I will move that and add
Okay.
that condition.
Okay, very good. Do I hear a second on the application?
second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay. We're all through with that one. Okay, the next item is IWWC 2021 -23, the application of Kevin McKierney to install riprap at the culvert at both ends to avoid scouring and cover pipe with 12-inch plus or minus of material to provide protection, grade and add vegetation cover to stabilize surface at 65 Erdoney Road, Assessors Map 015, Lot 006 in the LAR zone. Want to fill us in on that a little bit, Bill?
Yep. So do we have Mr. McNerney and Mr. Dion with us here?
Okay,
They
maybe
were
he
here.
would like to do that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
Kevin-
asking, are they
Yeah,
present?
They
Yeah,
were
Kevin.
here.
Okay. All right. So just a little backstory here. This is Mr. McNerney's second time before the commission for application of work without a permit. We had work that was granted a permit 5 years ago. Commission may remember. The reason why we're here is in the middle of November, I took note of some excavation work, deposition of soils, and the installation of a pipe during a period of time. Well, number one, without a permit. Two, conducted site work conducted at a time of year when vegetative cover reestablishment was not possible. And so that was the reason why I initiated this concern, this proceeding. So Mr. McNerney was issued a letter of violation back in November. We visited the site. John Valenti and I visited the site. This is one of the projects. There was some overlap with Mr. Valenti and I. So we're again, we're in a position where the commission is trying to work with the owner to, I guess, keep some work that's been done without a permit to avoid some financial hardship on his part, to undo work that's already been done, and at the same time protect the wetlands. We did have a site walk this past Saturday, and I think we did have a quorum there as well. So a number of you are familiar with the site. During that site walk, I think Ian may remember, Mr. McNerney expressed his displeasure, being polite here, that he is in this circumstance. And I explained to him that his site is more or less all wetlands. That home is constructed on a site where the only part of the area that's not on wetlands is the septic system. So the area where the work in question is taking place now is certainly within the wetlands and as a water course. And the reasons why I was concerned are I mentioned it twofold. So the disturbance and the installation of a pipe that conducts water directly, road runoff directly to the wetlands. So I went back and I reviewed the meeting of March 1st to make sure that I had an understanding of what we'd asked for at that point in time. And we'd asked for some section drawings showing the cover over the pipe and some representation of what the intent was there, with some professional guidance to restabilize this. And so what we've gotten is this morning, I guess at 10 a.m. Flo is when
Yes.
we received this drawing.
Yes.
So we have a drawing. It is a plan view, and I'm not an engineer, but one thing, the litmus test for me when I look at a plan is, can I walk out to the site? Can I go out to the site and look at this drawing and discern from this what the intent is? And I would say no. As I look at this, I really don't. It doesn't address what we'd asked for at the 3-1 meeting. Ian Dan is here. Ian is a landscape architect. I don't know if Ian had a chance to review this submittal that we got this morning. Ian, have you had a chance to look at it? Ian?
I see he's muted.
Ian is not
I'm
present.
asking him to, okay,
There he
he's here
is.
now.
There he is.
Sorry.
There.
No worries. Ian,
So
So what we're doing, and
yeah, so I was able to look at it. I don't know
we're
if
doing a screening form that's actually a Google form, and
sorry. If in my mind, I think that pipe should really be limited to what is needed for access. And I mean, I personally think that pipe is a little bit too small for what is out there.
Was it 8-inch?
Yeah. I mean, and it had, in some locations, had zero cover.
Right. So a couple of things. John Valenti had visited the site again today, and met with Mr. McNerney. So one of the suggestions was that, the whole reason for the pipe was that there be access made to this separate parcel or this other part of the property. And so one of the things that we were looking for with the section drawing was to show that there is cover, that we were looking for, whether 12 inches of cover on the up gradient side, so we're closer to the road, which would allow vehicular or tractor ability to traverse that area. And the other thing was that we'd asked for some detail on the inlet and the outlet of the pipe. And what came up on the site walk was something that John and I had discussed, is that in order to have an outlet structure, we really wanted the pipe shortened by 10 feet so that there's not additional disturbance of the wetlands in order to accommodate that. So that also has not been addressed here. So I don't know if any of the commission members who have seen the site would comment further on that, but that's my take on it.
Okay. So are there any comments?
Yeah, I would like to, as you point out, this is a plan view. I'd like to see a cross section that shows the amount of cover over this 8-inch pipe, which I think is undersized also. And with water, well, assuming water would flow all the time, it probably wouldn't freeze up, but there's that possibility with a cover of less than a foot. Another thing, Bill, have you had an opportunity to talk with the road department to see if they had any comments about the culvert?
I have not spoken directly with Public Works on it,
Okay.
on this at all. Our concerns are really, at least from my perspective, are really related to the protection of the wetland issue
Yeah,
here.
but it's gonna take some stormwater off the road.
Yeah,
And
but
wanna
I
make
think,
sure-
I
Go
think,
ahead.
I'm sorry, Tip. I think we had conceded that, the existing conditions prior to the installation of the pipe were such that there's overland flow there, which to me is preferable to having a pipe conduct that water unmitigated directly to the wetlands. That's the reason why we're having the discussion, why we're here. So we had asked for some mitigation on the upgrading side and also at the outlet. So that's kind of what we were seeking in order for them to keep the pipe.
Yeah.
To preserve the access, the ability to drive a vehicle or a tractor across this water course, if you will, to this other parcel. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments?
Does Mr. McNerney want to maintain the pipe? Is that his will now?
Is he there?
I thought he was on this.
Yeah.
He's muted and I'm.
Yes, I would, I'm gonna maintain this pipe.
Okay.
Okay. So what are we asking, Bill? That
Well,
we
we have
have
to-
a different sketch made up?
Can I,
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Mr. Dion, I'm sorry.
that's fine. You don't have to call me Mr. Dion.
Thank you.
You know what, I heard all your comments. I wish I had an opportunity to be there for the site walk. I was unaware it was being conducted. And I don't earn a lot of brownie points for my sketches, but at the same time, I provided a letter concerning this, I guess, in the previous meeting. And the way I'm looking at this is the pipe's in the ground. I think everybody can agree it's not going to carry the flow that the town pipe is going to carry. So I think right from the onset, my discussions with Mr. McNerney, my discussions with John Valenti, my observations, even though I saw it in snow cover, I only saw it unsnow covered just recently. Pipe's not going to carry the road water, but that's really, I think the intent was, can you just minimize future disturbance by enabling it to stay? And can you deal with that occasional inundate, it's going to get inundated and overflow. So in my letter, I'm kind of like, hey, when the snow is gone, let's take a look. Let's make sure you got some cover on the pipe. I'm less concerned about a tractor going over it than I am overflow water following it and eroding and gullying along the pipe. The pipe will become, if it, at the inlet, if it starts going on the side of the pipe, it will follow and create a gully and erode the edge of the pipe. So I'm like, get enough material on it so the pipe doesn't become a tracking device. And if you get close to a foot, hey, that's plenty. And you can drive your tractor over it. So what I was looking at, and I do recall in the last meeting that Bill had said, hey, get me something on the inlet. And quite frankly, I thought I'd be at a site walk and we'd talk. And so I swung and missed at that nonetheless. And then Mr. McNerney did send me an email a week ago saying, hey, I need a sketch. And that's my fault for not getting back to him sooner. I lost track of dates. That's why you have a 10 a.m. little sketch from me. The intent of that sketch, we're not installing this pipe, it's there. And it already has quite a bit of stone in the vicinity. And really what I'm trying to get across with this is get some fabric down, not to prevent scouring. The fabric's going to try to prevent the water from getting through, let's put something down to prevent it from scouring. He's got plenty of native stone all around that area, and he can hand place that. So his inlet will have some scour protection. By covering the pipe, it's going to give it some depth. And then that occasional flow may overflow. And he does have some exposed pipe. I saw that Saturday. I'm like, wow, I can see it. And he should, my thought was, hey, get some of that covered, get something established in growth, lawn or vegetation, and any occasional overflow will traverse kind of through his yard and make its way into the wetlands. And you just want ground cover to prevent it from eroding. He had mentioned, or maybe I spoke to John, I guess on Friday, he gave me a call. That's when there was conversation, or maybe Mr. McNerney told me about shortening the pipe. I forget that's obviously that's your requirements and your discretion. So if the pipe gets shortened, to me, whatever there's going to be some raw disturbance. That's where, again, placing some stone. He seems to have a lot of just native stone in the area, in the yards and everything. I'm like, hey, put this stone back in. But I can draw sketches and cross sections, but the fact that you can see the pipe, we can probably dig down, find it, and put a tape measure on it and say, hey, get 9 to 12 inches on this. And the inlet, as I said, it's just a matter of, again, the fabric is more of a preventative layer because the water could get through the stone and start following that pipe. And I'm just like, hey, put something down to deter the water from trying to follow the pipe. So you don't run a gully. You want it to, if it gets inundated, it will fill up, and then it will, if he grades his lawn, it will be more of a uniform flow. It does look like it seasonally runs. Obviously it was running Saturday, so that's just seasonal. And I suspect it dries up. And if you get heavy rains, yeah, I think your worst flow is going to be your winter season when you have frozen ground and then we get rain, that type of thing on snow. So
I'm sorry, one comment. So I don't think the concern is so much that an 8-inch pipe is going to handle the amount of flow that needs to pass through that area. I mean, we don't need to be an engineer to understand that, like, the pipe that comes from under the road is bigger than 8 inches. And so there, previous to this pipe being installed, there was overland flow, which to me, in my mind, from the perspective of wetlands, is more desirable than having a pipe that conducts, at least some of the water directly to the wetlands. So what I think we'd asked, or I think what we thought was a prudent solution, was a good compromise to allow Mr. McNerney to keep the pipe and preserve the access was to have some mitigation, some treatment on the up gradient and on the outlet side. And when we were on the site walk, and I think the first time I had seen it, it seems to me that it would be prudent to shorten the outlet by 10 of that pipe by 10 feet so that we don't create more disturbance in the wetlands to accomplish what we've asked for. So that's sort of my take on it. I don't know if you agree, disagree.
Is as far as shortening the pipe, again, that's kind of the commission's discretion. You know,
Yeah.
it does seem, and I think even if you shorten the pipe by 10 feet, it's still what's installed will serve the purpose of what Mr. McNerney was hoping to gain. And that the 10 feet, obviously to me, that has, if that's what the commission's looking to do, I suspect that's pretty, it does extend over. It looks like the pipe goes and he has a fitting and he turns it a little bit. And then it may actually go 20 or 30 feet. So taking the 10 feet off isn't.
Yeah, taking out one section wouldn't bother me either.
Yeah, I don't, again, it's really not my area of expertise, but it does give you 10 more feet of natural mitigation versus a pipe. So I can understand why you'd ask for that. I think it's kind of a reasonable request on your part, personally, considering what's there. So I don't think you're not getting any opposition from me from removing 10 feet. It's just a matter of now you're going to have a little bit of a mild disturbance again. It's a matter of getting it, established so it doesn't erode on.
Mild disturbance with an understanding that the outlet will have some sort of a riprap or native stone.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. If he removes 10 feet, he'd probably have to get some kind of, I'd put some stone in there, some natural stone again, just to try to, and I assume the seasonal flow that I saw Saturday, may start to dissipate it may dissipate next week. I don't know. We're not expecting any rain right now and so forth, but obviously it may be a dry season, a dry time event to pull the pipe and get it established as opposed to running water. But no, I have no opposition to the 10 feet. I can kind of understand why the commission would ask for that. So
John, if I had to make a recommendation here, I think the options are, my personal feeling is that, based on this discussion, it would be good if we could have a drawing that shows some structure at the inlet and the outlet. And ideally some type of section drawing, at least for the up gradient side, that shows the cover that we're asking for. So we could either, I guess, make that a condition of approval, or we could table this for a month. This is not a good time to undertake any of the activity in there due to the flow. You really ought to wait another month, maybe two, before you conduct any of this activity. It's saturated, it's wetlands, obviously, so the water table is highest now. So there's I don't think any urgency. The site is stable. So we could request, that additional sketch and vote on this at the next meeting. It's up to the commission, really, where we go from here.
That sounds logical to me, Bill. What's everybody else's thought? Want to hold off until the next meeting with the additional sketches? Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds prudent.
So let's do that. We'll wait for the next sketch and wait for our next meeting to approve everything.
So, Mr. Dion, I'm sorry, I'm going to call you Mr. Dion again. Just so we're clear, if we could have a section drawing of the site at the road, and then I think a plan view that shows inlet and outlet. I think that would be useful to us. I don't think you need a section for the outlet side. That's just going to be basically a spreader. But on the uphill side, I think to show the cover, that would be useful.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. And then other than that, I don't think there are any other major issues aside from just revegetating. And I don't think there would be any sort of limitation on what's planted. It could be lawn, I suppose. But it's just that it'd be planted with something stabilized after.
And just so the commission understands, because there is pipe visible. And so in order to get a reasonable cover on this pipe, I do suspect he'll probably need another load or two of material to be deposited there, just so you know.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, the idea here was that this whole thing is being done for access to this other area of the property. So, does anybody have any sort of, I mean, to me, 4 inches would be the minimum cover on a pipe like this, 4 to 6 inches for vegetative cover. So if we don't have that, I think we need to think about where the outlet for this is going to be.
Yeah, 12 inches is probably more than's required, quite frankly. It's just that.
Well, I'm talking about on the uphill side, like the
so it's
where the access is going to be for vehicles or tractors. Maybe the first 20 feet.
Sure. So I guess what I'm offering is I just want the commission to understand, if we start talking about moderate amount of cover, next thing you know, he has a lot of material going in there, and I suspect that's not what your goals are. If his intent is to try to get access to that neighboring property, I do agree. We could go a little heavier with cover on the road end of it, and then it can be something more, a little thinner that it enables him to establish vegetation, but not necessarily 12 inches.
Well, I'd say the burden's on you to establish what those finish grades are going to be. Yep. And and if that's not feasible, I guess option 2 is we could just have the pipe removed, and I don't think anybody really wants to do that.
No, correct. I think, and so it's nope, that's fine. I understand, and I think that is what I can talk with him. Maybe there's the upper region, we put a little more cover in there just to protect the pipe, and then it can reduce, just so he's not bringing in so much material, and just get the pipe covered. Because again, sometimes the pipes become a tracking device, and it will scour, even surface water will scour along a pipe. And so that's why, and if you put 3 or 4 inches, it may never grow anything adequately. So I agree. You get that 4 to 6, you can get something growing. And
to be clear, what I don't envision is bringing in 60 yards of material to gain a foot of cover over that pipe for the whole thing. That would sort of make no sense. But
that's why I kind of brought this up. I don't think that's our intention, but at the same time, he's going to have to bring some in, and so I just don't want alarms to go off if he has a load or 2 of material brought in at some point in time. That's all.
Well, a plan with a benchmark showing maybe the what the road grade is there, so we can figure that out. I think that would be advisable. Just to propose some proposed grades.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so let's hold off on this until the next meeting, and we see the sketches, and then we can vote on that. Yes, Chip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can't hear you, Chip.
How's that? That better?
There you go.
All right.
Okay. With the landowner has the understanding that probably talking about a tractor-sized vehicle. I think if we put if you attempt to put real heavy vehicles on there, the pipe will suffer some. But it appears to me that tractor is about the limit of the type of vehicle he'd be using there anyway. So I think we're okay in that regard.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll take it up at our next meeting.
And the landowner is going to maintain this pipe once it's installed, right? Didn't he say that earlier?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay,
Right.
so we'll table it till the next meeting.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Next item on our agenda is IWWC 2021-22, the application of Brian Benatti's to raise the existing house and build a new house, a new septic, drive, and E&S controls footing drain, porous asphalt overflow drain. And this is at 132 and 134 Route 87, Assessors Map number 013B, lots 048 and 049 in the LAR zone. Bill, you want to bring us up to date on that?
Sure. So John Valenti and I and Connie Kislick and Mr. Wentworth had visited the site the first time to get a handle, and actually Mr. Bonadies. Did I pronounce that correctly, sir? And
Yep.
so we had visited the site and got a general overview, and then subsequent to that meeting, we had had a site walk last Saturday, at which Mr. Wentworth presented the plan, and we had a number of the commission members present there. So I'll defer to Mr. Wentworth to take us through the rest of the presentation.
Sure. For the record, Wes Wentworth, Wentworth Civil Engineers in Lebanon, professional engineer and soil scientist, working for the Bonadies, who are also on the call here. The project consists of merging two cottage lots into one, tearing down one of the cottages and building a new home, and also maintaining an existing garage. And the second cottage, which is number 132, would also remain, but that won't be a living space anymore. It'll be converted to storage. We'll be tearing out all the driveways on the site and putting in a new driveway centering between out to Route 87, where there's already two existing drives. The activity pulls things away from the lake from where they are now. Other than tearing the existing number 134 down, we're pulling things farther back from the lake. We're installing a new septic system, which is on the lake side of the house, but we're forced into that location because of the existing wells in the area already. But that will be engineered and designed to current and installed to current health code regulations. It's actually been, the site plan's been reviewed and approved by the health district already for that. Probably the main feature regarding water treatment, nutrient allocation, would be that over half the driveway is going to be porous asphalt, which is allows water to enter through the asphalt and recharge to a crushed stone bed underneath. Obviously, it'll treat up to the 1-inch storm. I find in these cases actually treats up to 2-3 inch storms or better with that amount of void storage. So probably 95% of your storms through the year wouldn't result in any runoff off of the driveway. As far as any discharges to the lake, there is a 4-inch overflow that allows that stone to drain slowly if there are any large events, just so that you don't have any freezing and heaving in the winter. So that will be a discharge that would only run a few times a year. And then secondly, we have a 4-inch footing drain exit line also coming out. But both of those are moved back quite a bit from the lake. The existing lake walls in very, very good condition. Has it's masonry and natural native stone. Appears to me it's been rebuilt sometime in the past few decades or maybe more recently. There's crushed stone right to the surface behind the wall, and that's what's allowing any water coming off the property now to drain and not cause any expansion or heaving that would hurt the wall. So the wall's in good shape. We have nothing proposed for that right now. That's about it. The site walk, there weren't too many questions or concerns, and I'm glad to take anybody's comments or questions.
Okay, are there any questions? Oh, okay, if no questions, do we have a summary ruling on
Yep.
the application? Want to put it up,
Yep.
Flo? Okay.
Um,
See, Tip, could you read that for us, or the first part
we
of it
gotta
only?
get the next one. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go. Summary ruling, as provided for in Connecticut General Statute, Section 22A-36 through 22A-45 as amended, and in Sections 5, 6, and 9 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations of the Town of Columbia, I move that the application number IWWC-2021-22 and supporting data described below be approved and a permit granted with the standard conditions plus separate conditions listed below, in that the proposed activity does not have a significant impact on the wetlands or watercourses as defined in section 2.1 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission regulations. You keep going here.
No, just, I think, just tell who the applicant is, et cetera.
Okay, applicant, Brian Bonadies, 27 Old Orchard Way, Tallinn, Connecticut, 06084. Address activity 132-134, Route 87. Property owned by Brian Bonadies. Maps dated February 7th, 2021. Application received on February 22nd, 2021. And a fee of $260 paid.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Who
Second.
was the first? John, who was the first? Who made the motion?
Tip,
Oh,
Tip.
I did.
okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so do I hear a second on that motion? Somebody want to
I'll
second it?
second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
so moved. Thank you.
Congratulations, welcome to town.
Absolutely. That's cool. Enjoy.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay, next item on the agenda, IWWC 2021-21, application of Hop River LLC for a 4-lot subdivision with no activity proposed in wetlands or watercourses, minimal yard activity for lots 3 and 4 with footing drain, exit lines in the upland review area at 127 Route 6, Assessors Map 005, lots 016A in the LAR zone. You want to fill us in, Bill, first of all?
Sure. Likewise, similar to the Bondi's application, on the same day that we had our initial site walk with Mr. Wentworth, John Valenti and I visited the site. Subsequent to that, this past Saturday, we had a site walk there. Also, Mr. Wentworth was present as well. And once again, I'll defer to Mr. Wentworth to give us an overview of the application.
Okay,
Thank you again. For the record, Wes Wentworth, Wentworth Civil Engineers from Lebanon, professional engineer and soil scientist. I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicant. I believe Mr. Giuliani's on the call also. The activity, it's a 23 plus acre property. There's 2 homes that are on it right now, that are down at number 127 Route 6. So that will be a 4-lot subdivision is being proposed, but one of the lots will still contain those 2 homes, and there's no activity in that area up on the front of Route 6 within any wetlands or within any upland review area. Beyond that, we're creating 3 new building lots, lots 2, 3, and 4. Lot number 2 would also have no activity within an upland review area or a wetland. And then what you end up with is lot 3 and 4 have proposed house and driveway within a 200-foot setback from the wetland, because the wetland's abutting Hop River, and a portion of septic system for lot 3. And then as far as anything within the 100-foot upland review area, would only be foundation footing drains from the 2 houses down onto the slope near the wetlands, and that's just to obtain the necessary elevation to drain below the basement floor. All soils on site are just beautiful sand and gravel without a water table, so I don't expect any water to run out of those foundation footing drains, but it's just always prudent to put them in, just in case any rainwater were to overflow or because of a little grading situation chase down a foundation. You wouldn't want to flood a basement. It gives it a place to go. So even though those 2 footing drains would be on the steep slopes there, we do have a crushed stone outlets for them, and also in the next set of revised plans, I'm going to include per John Valenti's suggestion that the last 20 feet of those exit lines be perforated pipes surrounded by stone. So just to provide a little more area where water could recharge into the ground should it come out of those foundation drains prior to discharging. But again, I would expect little to nothing ever to come out of those pipes anyways. But lastly, a good portion of frontage along Hop River to the rear of the site, there's no activity, no lots proposed down there. It's looking like that's going to, we're working with the planning department now, and ultimately the Planning and Zoning Commission to meet our open space requirements. And it's looking like I think they're going to request it seems possibly town ownership of some open space with some frontage down on Hop River in that area. So, but again, no activity proposed, but just letting you know what's coming from that standpoint. So no activity within any wetlands or water courses. Everything's upland review area only. And I find where the activities are proposed, a very minimal chance of any long or short-term impacts to the wetlands because of the grades and the soil types. I wouldn't expect much runoff or certainly any sediment migration off of a site like this. You're just going to get a lot of infiltration into the water, into the ground. So with that, take any comments or questions anybody have.
Yes. Anybody have any questions? What size are the lots roughly?
Lot 1, which has the 2 homes on it, would be 4 acres. Lot 2, which is outside of the wetlands, would be 1 acre. Lot 4 would 1.2 acres. The next one would be 1.2 acres. And lastly, this set of plans is showing a 16-acre lot for lot 3, but whatever the open space, if that were to have town ownership, that area would come out of that lot.
Okay.
I want to make one other comment. I'm sorry, I don't if I missed it, I apologize, Wes, but there is a berm across the top of the bank there, where you know it would be not likely that there's any surface runoff to the bank. In addition to the soil conditions, it's unlikely in the extreme there's any impact to the wetlands here.
Okay, very good. Okay, do we have a summary ruling for that?
Yes.
Tom, would you read that for us?
John, I can't read it. It's blurry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Who else? Mary?
The-
Sure.
Mary?
Summary ruling, let's see, as provided for in Connecticut General Statute, Section 22A-36 through 22A-45 as amended, and in Section 5, 6, and 9 of the Inland Wetlands Water Courses Regulations of the Town of Columbia, I move that the application number IWWC-2021-21 and supporting data described below be approved and a permit granted with the standard conditions plus separate conditions listed below, in that the proposed activity does not have a significant impact on the wetlands or water courses as defined in section 2.1 of the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission regulations. Applicant is the Hop River LLC. Does that suffice or you need?
And nearby, a family tragedy unfolded. Roger Tofte's 13-year-old great-grandson, Wyatt Tofte, and his grandmother were killed by the firehouse.
Is that repeating?
Oh, who's talking?
It sounds like,
Mary.
yeah, I don't know why it's repeating itself.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Oh, was that sufficiently read into the record to vote on it?
Flo?
I think it will be, yes. Okay, do I hear a second on that?
Second.
We have a second?
I'll
on the
second.
application? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, Wes.
Okay, next item is new business. The approval of the meeting minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Why is it still going?
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Ron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Regular meeting minutes. Okay, that was done. Hang on a minute. I think we have one more application. Oh, no more. That's it. Okay, audience of citizens, we have none. Any communications or correspondence? Nothing there, Flo?
No.
Okay.
No.
Any open discussion? Anybody want to mention anything? No? Okay. Bill, administrative reports, you want to fill us in on a few of those?
Yeah, there's nothing really of note here. We have a couple of jobs still open around the lake that are waiting final site. Wondering what that is. Is there somebody we need to nuke?
No.
I don't know, somebody's talking.
Sounds like a repeat of what I've said, and I've muted myself and it won't turn off.
All right,
Okay,
well,
Trust me,
So
I
we'll
don't
just-
like my voice.
we'll just get through it then. So yeah, there's a few things that were done, lake walls and such that were redone over the winter that I'm still keeping an eye on until final vegetative cover, but nothing really significant that is worth rehashing here. There's been a
Okay.
few administrative approvals, but nothing significant. So I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Bill. So that's the final item, and we can ask for a motion to adjourn.
You're here.
Somebody- Okay, second? Tom, okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you all for attending, and we'll see you at our next meeting.
You bet.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Weekend.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Want to stay on, Bill?
No, I think we're okay, Flo. We're gonna
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
we're gonna wait until we see some more information from Mr. Dion. And that's it. Everything else is done, right? We approved 3 of them, and we were
Right.
going to put a little bit of language in the one for life, and that's it. Really, that's no time pressure because that won't happen till the fall anyway.
Right, but I have a question on the others. I mean, the others, it says, because this is all blank on the other couple of them. Work to start on or about and work to take approximately days. Do we even need those in the other summary rulings? Or 127 and Route 87, 132 and 134, Route 87?
So those are more significant construction projects that are requiring a home being built.
Right.
So let me ask John how he handles that. Why don't you can you send me those questions in an email? Is that possible?
Yeah,
Tomorrow?
sure, I can do
That would
that.
help. Yeah, that would help me.
This was a little different than when John used to handle, because he used to read the summary rulings.
No, I thought that
Remember?
no, I don't think he used to read them. I'd have to look back. I thought it was always a commission member.
It should be a commission member, so
Okay.
this
Yeah.
I agree with. But he used to read them, and then, because the very first meeting I had was, I put John Valenti as making the motion, and I was told, no, John can't
No.
make the motion.
No, he
'Cause
can't.
he
No, he
read
can't.
the summary, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, so yeah. So we'll work on that a little bit. But you're right. I think we ought to. Maybe I ought to pay a little closer attention to the language of that and any conditions. But the issue is
Yeah.
sometimes those conditions are set in the course of the meeting before you vote on it. Like the commission member may say, "Hey, I want this," and everybody agrees. So those things are added at the last minute. So it's not like we can have a draft and that's going to be exactly what it is.
Oh,
So
no, I understand that, yeah.
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 So
Okay,
anyway,
yeah.
but
I just wanted to make sure that these work for the meeting, because
well,
I
we could-
used kind of a template.
we probably have to have some language in there for dates for those ones that are approved. We can't just leave it blank. So let me talk to John a little bit about that, and
All right, I'll send you an email.
we'll get into that tomorrow.
Okay,
All right. Thanks, Flo.
all right, thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.
You too.